All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I have accumulated, I like working on my car, and with my new RAV4 last year, there's nothing to do. All the things I used to add to the car, it came with it. So I had to look for new things. What I do, I keep a car for 10 years. So the first thing I do when I get the car, I drive into U-Haul and I get a trailer hitch. The second thing I do is to go to uh, Firestone, and I get a lifetime alignment. And even it might even be on sale a couple times. I've done that. So then I started doing things that I thought would make it safer. I guarantee if you stick with me for, I don't think it'll take an hour. Some of the things I'm going to show you, I guarantee they will save you money, either on your actual insurance payment and or in safety, that you won't get tickets. And I can guarantee there are certain tickets you will not get if you use one of these, and just you'll be safer. So I'm just going to start with something simple. I figure if people hit me in the rear, it's their fault, but I could get hurt. So I went to, this is from Harbor Freight. I think it was $8. And then I went online because I didn't feel like working on a 555 circuit for another 2 weeks. So you can buy a little gadget, and you have two for the input. So you take the wires from your third light, which I did. I did another one for the third light above the center, and you connect the power to that, and then you take the two wires coming out. And what happens is every time you apply your brakes, it'll do three fast flashes, like dit, dit, dit. It'll do two slow, three slow, da, 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 and then dit, 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 and then it'll stay on. And I think, and I've had cops come behind me and they've never stopped me, so I think it's legal. I then replaced the back brake lights in the back. You can go to Pep Boys and buy replacement that are LEDs and never wear out. And they do the same thing. You pump the brakes and they'll just go da 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 da, and then they stay on. And then I bought one of these, a second one of these, and I put it in the trailer hitch red light. So if I'm not pulling anything, this will also flash fast, slow, fast, and then stay on. Okay. That was the first thing. I think it's safe. They're going to get much better. Anybody got a? I'll stop after each one to ask. You can ask questions, and we'll get them all at once. That's pretty simple, though. If you're handy with a soldering iron, you can do that for a lot less money. Any questions about that?
I have a comment.
Okay.
This is John, and you want to be cautious because I know what you're doing is adding an additional load to that brake light, whichever brake light circuit you're on. And
good
so you
point.
want to be careful about the fuse.
Absolutely right. That's a good point. What I do when I buy the trailer hitches, I buy the harness that they sell for your particular car. And then you just unplug the cable going to the lights. You plug this in, and then that goes. On the Toyota, you must run a hot wire all the way back to the battery just for this. So these things are all LEDs, and though I have a lot of LED, it's not burdening the circuit, and it has its own fuse with its own power source. It took a long time to run that under the car when you don't have a lift, but it worked. But that's a good point. You better check that with your car. Make sure that you can do it. You can't just put in a bigger fuse. All right. Now, the next thing is and we're going to spend a little time on this because there's a lot of stuff you can do to save money. You have, after 1993, they passed a law. Every car sold in the United States must have sensors on them. It's at least 50, and many car companies put more on, and they run through a bus called the CAN. I forget what, I don't know the exact name of that particular bus, I want to say CAN system, but I don't remember. But the other part of the regulation says that it must have a connector that the occupant in the car can use.
That's
So,
correct. You have, it is CAN, and the connector is an OBD, and there's different versions of that.
right. Well,
Back to you.
most of them are most of them use the same thing. The couple companies, car manufacturers differ. The point is that that connector is usually right under your steering column, and it is a OBD2 is what they're using now, onboard diagnostic 2, and you have to have access to it. The main thing to remember is it'll accept 4 amps. If you put more than 4 amps through it, you're going to blow the fuse. So what can you do with that? I have done 2 things. Actually, I've done more, but the first one, you can buy a little module the size of a pack of cigarettes. You plug this into the socket, and now this thing is reading automatically all those sensors. Just keep circulating and reading them over and over. Then you take your cell phone, which you probably want to have so you can receive calls, and there's an app called Torque, spelled the way it sounds, and you put that on your phone. It's free, but if you want to get rid of the ads, which I did, it's about $6-7. You can choose a meter of any size you want. Remember when you were a kid and they had all these meters you could go to the Pep Boys and buy, and you had a rack of them in your car and it looked like it was belonged on a racetrack? That's what they look like. But you can choose the size, and you can have several screens of them. You can measure oil temperature, compression, anything you can think of. It also, they know the system knows the exact VIN number of your car. A lot of things are on there. Okay, so you put this in, you're on the Torque, and now on wherever you're holding your cell phone, you can monitor anything that you want those sensors. It'll tell you you can also, when there's a code, when they say something's wrong, check engine light, you'll get the number and you can look it up in a book. You can do it yourself. This is very practical. By the way, there's a vibration contact. If someone was to hit your car, you could find that. Might be a little difficult. So there's an easier way to do that. I bought a second module. This is where we're going to get into what's really good about the OB2. This module is from, I understand other companies do it, but this one is from T-Mobile. It's a little smaller than the other one, actually. You plug this in. It will read the modules, tell you if there's a fault, if there's something you ought to look at. It monitors that. What it was sold for is it uses GPS, and it knows exactly where you are so that you transmit through Bluetooth to your phone, and you can look on your phone and know exactly where your car is. It's using a SIM chip from T-Mobile, $10 a month, no tax. That includes any taxes and anything else, and it's for the whole month, not 30 days. So I have let them take it out of my credit card, and I'm paying $10 a month. Now you can know where your car is, but it does. Now, if it knows where your car is and you park in a big lot around a mall, and you come out and say, where the hell is my car? You turn your phone on and you look at the map, it'll show you where your car is, and there'll be a blue spot where you are, and you just walk towards your car. So you can't, I don't know how well that works in a parking lot that's inside, but when you're in a big lot, it works great. So that was the main reason I bought it. If someone was to steal my car, I can call the cops, and just like LoJack, I can tell them where the car is, and they can retrieve it. It's kind of hard to steal a new car, because if they have that electronic thing that lets you in the car instead of a regular key, and I don't even have a key to start the engine. I push a button, and if I don't have that transmitter in my pocket for the electronic key, it won't start. And I've looked at the circuits. There's no way to bypass that. There's no way to hot wire it. If they want to steal my car, they're going to have to put it on a flatbed. When I got my new car last year, in 18, I told the insurance company I got all the I didn't care about a lumbar seat. I don't care about a roof that opens up. I got all the electronic things you can get. No, I can see what's in front of me, the cruise control, see behind me. And I told them I have the equivalent of a low jack, and they gave me credit for it. So it reduced I think I got 10% off of my rate just for having all these electronic things, including the low jack. So this is gold. And now you're going to say, well, how do I use the two of them? Well, it's actually easier than you think. I actually have this is a Y cable. So I have one in and two out, but they make them with three, and I use all three. Actually, no, I use two of them and I leave the third one blank so that the dealership can plug in and not bother with any of my stuff. Now, everyone understand what I'm telling you about this? $10 a month only for the SIM chip. Oh, the thing itself was $70, one-time payment. Any questions about this? The OB2? No questions?
How about using an iPad rather than a cell phone for the display?
I'm going to assume that T-Mobile makes the app for iPad too. I know they make it for the OBD2 module. That goes in every car. And if you have an Apple, you can use. They have their own site where they probably call it the same thing, Torque. And this is just called Sync Up, and it's gold. Oh, it'll also tell me if I left if the car won't lock, my phone will give me a beep. And if somebody was to hit the car, it will tell me you have a disturbance. I can't even remember. So it's a lot for what you're paying. There is one problem though. It's a phone chip. And if someone hits my car, I hope they parked and I can catch them, because it might take more than a minute before that phone conversation gets back to me. That's not going through the Bluetooth. It's going through the phone. It also keeps a record of your driving. All the adult programs they have for adult drivers, this refresh thing, what they want you to realize is you got to work. All you really want to know about is your acceleration and your deceleration. If you're accelerating real fast, you're probably going to get in an accident. If you're decelerating real fast, it means you were going too fast in the first place. And that's what they monitor. This thing gives you that monitor too. So you can get that information, because if you want to do it through the car, like I took it through Liberty Mutual, they give you a little chip and you put it on the dash, and it will monitor all your movements, and it's the acceleration, deceleration. And if it was really bad, it gives you a tardy mark. And so you can get anywhere from nothing to 15% off of your bill for your insurance every month. And that's for life. You only have to take that once, period. Any other questions about this? This is gold. It's called Sync Up.
Yes, we actually have a couple questions in the chat about this.
Okay. Did you just put that on my screen, or can I put it on the screen?
I can just read them out to you. It's fine.
Well, put it up. Okay, go.
So how do you know like what specific plugin to buy, and like where do you buy them?
Oh, where do I buy the Sync Up? I got it at my local T-Mobile store. However, write it down, and you may have to hunt. For some reason, they don't advertise this product, and it's not in. When I wanted to give a speech here at this conference, I went in and I said, I want 100 of these brochures on this. They could not get them. They didn't have them, and they couldn't get it from the main office. So I don't know why they're not advertising it. So you might have to go to a larger school or call them, I don't know, customer service. But it's sold through the T-Mobile stores. And you don't have to have a T-Mobile phone to use it. All you have to have is any cell phone, and it will work.
What about the first one you talked about that connects to the Torque app and gives you all your sensor data? What's that one called?
The data from the CAN system, that's been around a while, and all you do is go online. I went to the Google Play Store, and I got it there, and it was they're down to about $10-15 brand new, and they're all doing the same thing because they're made to work with this program Torque. So long as they work with that, then it's fine. You get the software for the Torque is free. This program, I paid them a little to get rid of ads, but now you can decide. Next question.
What if someone unplugs the sync up the T-Mobile device? Like, would it give you like a distress saying that it was unplugged or something?
If this module gets unplugged?
Yeah, the sync up, the T-Mobile one.
Nothing happens. It just won't record.
Okay, so I think the question is in a situation like your car is being stolen and they're aware of this sort of device, so they would unplug it.
Okay, that's a great question. What I did, I got a cable that has provision for 3 of these. This only has 2, but I have one for 3. And then this one is the main one. This plugs into where the socket that's under your dash. I then put a couple rows of tie straps around it. And when you put this in, this part's the only thing sticking out. So you got it sticking out maybe a ½ inch, and it's under the dash. They feel something there. They'll just assume there's nothing there. And then nothing is exposed. So the modules themselves are behind the carpeting under the brake. And they can't get this out very quickly, so the alarm would have gone off and you would have gotten it before they were able to disable it. Most people don't even know it. 99% of people don't know that it exists, so I don't think many people are going to look for it. What was that other question? There was one right here. I guess not.
That was all of them.
That's all. Okay. That takes care of this box. Now, we're still not going to go away from the OB2 because 2 of you that talk, I know you're into electronics. So there's a couple other things. I don't know why they made this cable. I tried it. It works. You plug this into the OB2, the onboard diagnostic socket, and it has a USB. I guess in an emergency, you can use this. The onboard diagnostic module is active 24/7. The cigar lighters on my car are not. They're only working when the car is running. So if you wanted to put in your own alarm system, you want to plug into this so it's working 24/7. And I'll talk about something about that later. But what I did was I was paranoid that I would short out the socket with my modules and they'd be too much current being drawn. So I made my own little gadget. And you can buy a socket that's already been wired to the power. So it has a little red and black wire coming out and an alligator clip on the end. And that's what I bought. This little socket, we got to get the end of it, is right here. This plugs into the 3rd of my triple Y adapter. And all I had to do was take the red, you could wire one yourself. This was because I just wanted it quick and dirty. So I wired the red and black to a little digital display, which cost me about $10. This shows me the voltage and current going through. So I wired that in, then there's 2 wires coming out. That went to another one of the exact same sockets.
Sorry, when you hold them, can you hold them a little bit higher? They're just out of frame. On the
I know.
camera.
Okay, I got you. So
Okay.
I started out with this socket, red and black, went to this meter. I should be looking at the screen. Sorry about that. And then I took the red and black, took it from the output of this meter, and now I'm going to another male plug. Well, you got to reverse that and make it a female if you're going to plug something into it. So they also have, I bought the cheapest one I could find. This is a Y adapter. Two males and one female. So I just plug one of the males into the end of my thing, and then I have a female here, and that's where I can put the triple Y adapter so I can run my accessories. So this ended up costing me about $20 and about 20 minutes to solder together. And that way I could test each module individually, and I will see exactly how much current it's using. I don't leave this in the car. So that works. Okay, does that clear? Oh, we're getting this. The one that I really want to talk about is the last one, so I'm glad this is going so well. But just in case you're interested, I don't know, you can buy a meter from Harbor Freight that will tell you all the codes, and you don't have to program anything, just push a button. And if you want to experiment with, I found this online. This was about $15. It has all the connectors that are on the onboard diagnostic system. And then it has an in and out cable. So you plug one into the under the steering column and plug your accessories into this, and you have a jumper box to test or do what you want and play with it safely. It's got its own fuse. And that was good. And that brings me to the one that we really want to talk about. Of course, I don't see that. All right. I bought a rear view mirror that has cameras in it. This cost me over $100. Okay. Now, think of this as a laptop, a cell phone. Okay. If you want, you can put a SIM card in this, and you could make calls and such from it. And this side, of course, is the mirror. But if you look on this side, there's a camera. So I strap this onto my visor, and there's a camera going up the front. I plug it into the cigar lighter, and whenever the ignition goes on, this thing starts recording. When the ignition goes off, it stops recording. By the way, the sync up not only turns on with the car and off, it makes a map of exactly where you were, a Google map, and then saves it. They never go, I don't know where they're storing them. They're not storing them on my phone. I have 2 years worth of every single trip I ever made. So you have a record. The beauty of this is it circles around after 30 megabytes and does it again. But if there was a crash, it would stop recording, period. And that way you have a record of what happened. But there's more that you can save money on with this. But before I do, I want to just tell you one quick story. I was in some place I shouldn't have been. It turns out I was in the middle of drug lands, and I pulled over. It was a snowy day, and I pulled over. I left the car running, and I'm looking at Google Maps on my phone, but it was cold out. I left the car running. Think about that. One car in front of me was the corner, and this girl ran out from the corner, and as soon as she got to the pavement area, she fell down, and she's in the street, and this guy comes over, and I thought he was hitting her. And eventually, local people chased this guy away, and I went over to see if I could do anything. I asked her, how are you? She said, I was stabbed many times. Some of them went deep. Well, rather than waiting for the emergency vehicle. The cops were all over in that neighborhood. They came over, they looked at her, I saw this blood in a pool of black blood in the middle of the street. She had layers of clothing on. You couldn't see anything there, but you could see this girl's bleeding out. They picked her up, put her in a car, ran her to the triage unit at Temple University, and she was there for a month. And then after they were carrying her away, I said, officer, I think I have a video of everything that just happened. There was nothing in front of my car, but it was cold and I left the heater on. So I saw the whole thing myself, but the video was going. When I got out of the car, I turned the engine off, locked the door, the video stopped. So they ran me and my little mirror to the nearest precinct and they took the chip out, they made a copy of it. And I'm now a witness. This guy's up for attempted murder, and he's been in jail for 2 years. They haven't had a trial yet. So you never know when you're going to use it. But this is a complete, think of this as a phone, okay? Without, you don't have to put the phone chip in it. So what I want you to understand is, I have an app that I used to have on my phone. Whenever I got in the car, I ran this app. I think what's going on is the Department of Transportation has a file of every single red light camera and every speed camera in the country. If it's on a highway, they have it. Oh, the name of the mirror. Someone just asked what the name of the mirror was. It's a no name. This comes from China. I waited for it to come on a boat. And they don't, but if you're buying it, what you want to do is make sure, I'm sorry about that. It should be a good one. You can tell that if it also has a wire that goes from here to the rear of your car, and you can have, it's monitoring the rear of your car too. And make sure it can pick up the internet. It can go through Wi-Fi. This connects. I used it through my Wi-Fi to get some other programs on it. It has Google. It's an Android device, so it has the Google Play Store app. It has Google Maps. You do not want to use this to see Google Maps. You're only seeing a little tiny area. I don't want to look there from. Besides, the one that came off my car is good, and the one on my phone is far better. But for the other things, okay, so it was $110. It'll also talk, whatever. But the big thing is what I put on there. The app, some guy figured out that if they have all the coordinates for all the phones in the whole country where the red light and speed cameras are, why can't I record them? It's public information. And I'll make a map that looks at the GPS on the phone, and I'll know where the car is, and when it's getting close to one of these, I'll tell the person. Basically, you tell, okay, so if I'm going down the highway, it would go something like, warning, red light camera, 1,500 meters. Warning, red light camera, 1,000 meters. And it'll keep going until it gets to 100 meters. And after that, you better slow down. So it will tell you, and they put up, as they put up new ones in Philadelphia, immediately I knew them on this, on my phone. I could tell when there was a red light camera. But it's not so much for when I'm in Philly. What about, I went down to Baltimore to see my son playing in a Frisbee game at some field in the middle of nowhere in Maryland. And I'm on this road. I've never been on it before. And this thing started beeping every 15 seconds. There were more cameras on the road in that area than anywhere I could imagine. And I didn't get caught by any of them. And then I went to the field and I said, Ellie, why didn't you tell me there's so many cameras? Oh, Dad, I forgot. But I had this. I had the name of the program that I was using is Cam Sam, CAM, and I'm going to check that, make sure I'm spelling it right. I'm just putting it up on my phone, and if I look on right here, CAMSAM, and it's free. So you try it, and if you're going to use it, then I would pay them the $5-6, and they upgrade it several times a year. So why am I going into the detail of that? Why do I have to use my phone for that? I have this. I took this, right, and I put CamSam on it. So now when I get in my car, I turn the ignition on. One, I'm taking videos of everything happening, which I wouldn't tell them I have if it was my fault. But if it's not my fault, I've got a record. And I also know where every speed trap is in the country, every installed speed trap on every highway is in the whole country. And it's on here. Okay? That makes driving so much easier. Now, there was somebody put up a question here. What was it? I couldn't read and talk at the same. I can't do that. I can't chew gum and talk. And did anyone have a question about this?
Someone asked specifically, like, where does this mount? Like, is it on top of your existing rearview mirror, on your visor? Like, where exactly does it go?
Where do I mount it?
Yes.
Okay, this mounts. This takes two rubber bands. Okay, rubber O-rings, and it just goes on your visor. You put this up, wrap it around your visor, and plug it in. But I don't want to plug it into the onboard diagnostics port. I want to plug it in to my cigar lighter, so that when the car is turned off, this is off. Okay, and you can adjust the intensity. You can still use, it's still a mirror, and it works very well. And usually after 15 seconds, you can have it just stay in the background. So there's nothing you really have to see. None of the information that it's printing on the screen is of any use to me. So you don't even have to use it. You could have maps on it. Now, John, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. I take it you're leaving me. So, is there any other questions?
There is one more. And it's, what would your suggestion be for, say, when your car is parked and turned off, to monitor for stuff like vandalism or something?
When the car is turned off, the onboard diagnostic plug is not turned off. It's on 24/7. So if you have installed the sync up for $10 a month, you will know if your car has been. I've gotten several messages that warning your car has been. It's moved, it's shaped, it's done. I don't remember the word, but the point is, I get those messages. The only problem is you don't get them instantly. It may take a minute. So if someone was parking and hit your car, you can come out and then say something. But it works 24/7. All that information is always being received if you need it. On the other hand, the mirror, that only works when the car is running. Every time you start, it starts a video. Every time you stop for over 15 seconds, it turns off and it will start a new video. That's a good question. Any others? No other questions? I have cameras built into the car. I thought about that, and I don't know. But it seems to me that I don't know. It seems to me if you had a wiring diagram, which they don't publish anymore, you could tap into that video. Do that again. I couldn't see that text message. Does something.
Paul, do you want to know how to turn on the chat messages so they stay
Yeah,
where you can read them?
Hello?
Sure, Hal.
Okay, in your icons, next to share content, there's participants, and then
I
there's
see
an icon.
participants.
Then there's another one that says more, M-O-R-E.
Okay,
Tap on that. You'll get a menu. Go ahead and tap on it.
I got it. What do you want me to,
No.
what one's the good one?
Tap on chat,
Oh,
and it pulls up the chat.
oh, but then I can't see me. Okay, I got it. So
I'm
which
sorry.
message am I up to? The guy that was running this, the thing there, he could have put it on the screen. Okay, what do,
I sent the chat before.
okay,
I had 4 cameras in the car, you know, it's 360 degree. So that's why I was wondering if I could use those at all.
no, I don't know. I don't know what everyone else is doing, but I'm going back to this where I don't know what everyone else is doing, but Toyota does not make a manual anymore. They got a really good thing online, but it's only for the people in the dealership. So I have no way. I used to be able to buy a wiring diagram for my car and know everything. Can't do that anymore. I would think there's a way that if that's a cable, it screws onto the display, and you should be able to put a Y adapter on it and use it. I don't know. I don't even know if they're using a special. Maybe they're using some Japanese frequency. I don't know.
It's an Acura. Yeah.
It's not. What is it?
Acura.
It's a brand.
It's
Check
a
with the
brand.
dealer.
Yes, but I don't know if. Look, for $100. By the way, you're getting 2 cameras in the front and the back, but they have a very wide band. So the guy probably would be getting to one of them. I did catch someone that tried to vandalize the car like that, but I'm more. I think the other thing with the speed and red lights, that pays for itself. But and it's not intrusive. It's just on automatically. I don't have to do anything. Oh, I guess I should have said there's also a plug on here, and it takes a USB cable. I'm sorry, a cable for a GPS antenna. So I ran that out, and then the very top, I got an antenna on the front glass. So it's getting all this information from a GPS antenna. That might be an older technology because I don't know if they even use those big magnetic antennas anymore. But it works, and it keeps working. Okay, let's try that then. I'll try this. Your idea. Oops. I guess I did more. Okay, so this is chat, and if there's another question, thank you. I have cameras built. Okay, does the mirror recorder overwrite when it runs out of my? Yes, when once it used up 32 gigabytes, it'll recycle. But that's a lot. That's a long time. That would be over an 8-hour shift probably, and it only records while the car is moving, and if you stop, it'll go for 5 minutes. So a minimum of 5 minutes. Only when the car moves does it start. Motion sensitive, so you don't have to worry about it. So if anything was good there, save it and just put another chip in. For the mirror, do you have to wire trailing? Do I have a wire? Yes. The only way, well, not exactly. Hold on. Okay, where are you going to power the mirror from? You could go in, well, you have to go into something that is only powered while the car is on. It can't be something that's on 24/7, or you're going to waste a lot of time on the memory going through the trips. So what I found was I have a window in the ceiling in my car, one of those air things, You pulled it out, and the sun can come in and give you a sunburn. I don't know why people want that. I mean, if you're bald, you're going to be suntan, burn your head. My wife had it on her car, and I never used it once. But now I've got that and a couple other things that are controlled by a panel in the ceiling. That panel is easy to take off. And you just go to the wires that are used for the electric motors that make it go in and out. But all you have to do is find one wire that is on only when the car is, the ignition is on. And if you can find that wire and it's in the ceiling area, then you plug it in there. It doesn't matter where you do it. The machine is. Oops. Go ahead.
You'll need a ground wire too.
Well, yeah, but if there's a wire, well, they're not running one wire to those motors. There's two wire. They don't ground anything to the cars anymore. They go to everything is done in a harness. You can't just ground it to the chassis of the car and expect it to work. So there's a black and a red wire up there. It might not be black and red, but you can find it. Okay, for the mirror, yeah, so I have to wire a trailing wire. I have to take it to the cigar lighter. And that's what I did. It would be nifty if you told us where you ordered the mirror from. And you're asking me about Amazon. Well, I know I didn't order from. Okay. I used to sell things on eBay. Now, when you go on eBay, they give you a template. This is where you put the price. This is where you say you can bid on it. This is where you give a description. This is where there's a separate place to put any information you think you might be giving out. So that when someone lists something on eBay, every single listing is the same. They have the same format. I can find things. When you go on Amazon, they might only give you the model. They might not even give you the model number. They'll tell you what they want. And I have never bought on Amazon, and I don't feel safe going on Amazon because I don't know what I'm getting. There's no description. And Amazon puts things on eBay, and they're the same price as the other eBay things. And sometimes I get something in the mail, and it's from Amazon, but it came through eBay. But I only go to eBay, and I also been doing this a lot of years. I would only use PayPal. Nobody on the internet knows my information. Nobody. I never give anybody a credit. If you had to use a credit card, I'd go buy one in Woolworths or in CVS, buy a credit card with some money on it, pay that bill, and then throw it away. Nobody is going to get into my bank account because of what I did on the internet. PayPal has never been cracked. PayPal is doing it. As a matter of fact, it's so big now, they split PayPal and eBay to two separate things. But that's the only way I'll buy. If you feel comfortable on Amazon, I'm sure these things are on Amazon. I just won't use it. Is there any other? I'll go back to this now. I don't know what's happening. I keep hitting the wrong one. I'm too old for this crap. You know that? Here we go. So what's the model? I don't know. Okay. You think there's a model number on this, huh? I'm going to tell you there isn't. Let me show you this. I'll go back to this is just a box with a name. They got a nice print on here, but nothing says what it is. And, but I'll tell you what I'll do. Okay, so it has a G sensor built in. It has the video stuff. It has GPS. And here's the manual. Okay, you know what? The closest I can see, it may have a name. Here we go, guys. Car CAMC. That's two separate car space CAMC, another space, and RDER. And I don't know where I could post it, but no, that's never thought of that. I just identified it by the character of what it does. It even has a remote. Oh, and it even has a remote control, so you can. There's no touch screen on this, so you can't actually tell it what you want to do. It has a touch screen, but not a character keyboard. So it comes with a remote to do all that. So I think that's going to. Let's see. What about the blue? Here's the. This is the barcode. The only thing I see on here might help you is LYY0947. And that was pretty good.
Can you type that in the chat or say it again?
Okay, I can try doing that. Will it let me type? Chat. Oh, yeah, I can. Which one do you want? That code? I'll give you both. One is capital letters. LYY. I have funny speech, huh? 0947.
Okay, somebody sent us some information.
Oh,
Chat.
they have it? They found it?
Thank you. Yeah, I
Whoa.
think so.
Whoa, you're okay. Well, I can't read that, so I'm going to push this button on my screen and push screenshot. And now I have it. Whoever that was, thank you. All right, then this one was the best I could find. Okay, any other? You can just want to call out the question, so I don't have to. If you have another, I can't show you. Never mind. Okay, well then that's it. Those are the things I've added, and I found them to be extremely useful. And I feel like I'm in a jet plane, and I have all these controls, and most of them work automatically.